Hi and welcome to Giggles and Yarn, my crochet channel. This is Nelly from South Africa. Welkom by Giggles en Gare. Bienvenue à toutes les chacun. Granny squares are usually these little blocks that burst with color. All kinds of shapes and flowers and daisies and sunflowers and whatever your mind can imagine. That's what they put in granny squares these days. But the old-fashioned little granny square was made with scrap yarn, and therefore bring along all your favorite little pieces of scrap yarn, your favorite colors, and let's crochet this lovely little floral scented granny square. So take your first color and let's start with a slip knot. Pull your slip knot tight and let's chain 4. Make 4 chains, then insert your hook into the first chain that we made and make a slip stitch. Now we've got a little circle into which we're going to work our first row. There you can see it. Into that little ring we're going to work our whole row 1. So let's make 4 chains. This 4 chain represents a treble crochet. Then make another treble crochet into the ring. We've got 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. And yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. That's your treble crochet. All making all into the same little circle, same ring. Let's make another treble crochet. Yarn over twice. Insert your hook into the little ring. Got 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Now we have 3 treble crochets. Keep making treble crochets into the same space. We are going to make a total of 12 treble crochets. That includes our first chain 4. So it's our chain 4 plus 11 treble crochets into the same space. So now we've made, let's count. This chain 4 is our first treble crochet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've made 6 treble crochets so far. Now let's make 6 more treble crochets into that same space, and I'll meet you at the end. So now I've made 11 treble crochets, which means 1 4 chain plus 10. Let's make the last one together into the same space. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and now we've got 12 treble crochets. So let's end row 1 by making a slip stitch into the 1, 2, 3, 4th chain from the bottom. Insert your hook under both loops and make a slip stitch. Chain 1, cut your yarn and pull through. So there we have our first row of our granny square, a ruby feathered granny square. So now we're going to take our next color You can start anywhere in row 1, in any space between the treble crochets. Choose any one, pull up a loop with your new color, chain 1, and there we've got our new color attached. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. This chain 2 represents a double crochet. Make 2 more double crochets into that same space. Half double crochets, sorry. Half double crochets. Now you have a little half double crochet cluster, granny cluster, and directly make 3 half double crochets into the next space between the treble crochets. There's your second half double granny cluster, and now make 3 half double crochets into the next space. And directly make 3 half double crochets into the next space. So your chain 2 represents a half double crochet. So we're going to continue like this, making 3 half double crochets into each space all the way around for row 2. Each space in between the trebles, and I'll meet you at the end. So there I've made 11 clusters of half double crochets, and let's make the last cluster together. Let's make 3 half double crochets into the last space, and that's our half double granny clusters. So now we're going to end row 2 by slip stitching into the second chain from the bottom, chain 1, cut your yarn and pull through. Now that's the end of row 2 of our ruby feathered granny square. Well done. Let's choose our next color, our third color, and we can start anywhere in row 2 in between the clusters. So choose any space between the clusters, pull up a loop with your new color, chain 1, and there we have our new color attached. So now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now make 1 more double crochet into that same space. So your chain 3 represents a double crochet, and then make 1 more double crochet into the same space. 1, 2. Only 2, not 3, only 2. And then chain 1. Now into the next space between the double crochet, half double crochet clusters, make 2 double crochets. And chain 1. Only 2. Now into the next space between the half double crochet clusters, make 2 double crochets and 1 chain. Just check, is there a chain? Yes, there's 1 chain. Don't forget your chain 1 between your clusters. Now let's make 1 more. There's a 2 cluster and chain 1, Continue like this all the way around for row 3 and I'll meet you at the end. So now I've made 11 clusters of 2 double crochets each into the spaces between the previous rows clusters. Chain 1 and now make 2 double crochets into the next and last space and chain 1. I have made 3, so I'm going to undo and I have to make that 3 only 2. It's such a habit to make 3 double crochets for a granny cluster, but in this case, in order to make the feather-like look, we only make 2. Like a kind of peacock feathery look, as if it's like bursting from a star from the middle out. It looks like a water droplet or feather. So now we have completed row 3, where we're at the end. Make a chain, cut your yarn and pull through. And there you have the third color of your cherry berry ruby feathered granny square. Now we're going to make the last row, row 4, that actually makes a square. Now take your next color for your 4th row and begin anywhere in any of the one chain spaces between the clusters. Pull up a loop with your new color, chain 1, and there we have your 4th color attached. Now for row 4, we're going to chain 3, and now we're going to make normal granny square clusters that consist of 3 double crochets each. This chain 3 represents your first double crochet. Now make 2 more double crochets into the same space. Same one chain space. Now chain 1. Repeat this for the next space. Make 3 double crochets into the next one chain space. That is called your granny square cluster, your granny cluster stitch, which consists of 3 double crochets and chain 1. Now repeat, make 3 double crochets into the next one chain space and then chain 1. Now in the next one chain space we're going to create our first corner. Let's check if there's really a chain 1. Very important, don't forget your chain 1. Now make 3 double crochets into the next one chain space, which represents a granny cluster. There you have your first granny cluster. Now make 2 chains and in the same space make 3 more double crochets. Then you have a granny cluster, 2 chains and a granny cluster, and that is your first corner. So there we have crocheted our first corner, and because we have 12 stitches, we're going to have 4 corners, and in between each corner we're going to have 2 clusters. Now chain 1 and make 3 double crochets into the next 1 chain space. This is your cluster, and chain 1. Now make 1 more cluster, 1 more granny cluster, and in the next stitch chain 1, and in the next stitch we're going to crochet our second corner. So make 3 double crochets into the next 1 chain space, 2 and 3, and now chain 2, and into the same space make 3 more double crochets which represent your granny cluster. So now we have 1 granny cluster, 2 chains, and a second granny cluster into the same space. That is your second corner. 1 and 2 corners. Remember to always chain 1 after your corner, which is the same as after every cluster. Now we're going to make 2 clusters in each of the next 2 1 chain spaces. A cluster consisting of 3 double crochets and 1 chain, and again 3 double crochets into the next 1 chain space and 1 chain. There we have it. Now we are ready for our third corner. Let's make our third corner. Make a granny cluster into the next 1 chain space, which consists of 3 double crochets, and then make 2 chains. 1 and 2. Now make 3 more double crochets into the same space, and there we have our third corner. There's our 3 corners. Corner, 2 clusters, corner, 2 clusters, corner, 2 clusters. Now let's make 2 more clusters in each of the following 2 1 chain spaces. 3 double crochets and a chain, and in the next space 3 double crochets and a chain. 1 chain. Now we are ready for our fourth corner. Corner 1 2, corner 1 2, corner 1 2. And in that last space where we already have a cluster, we are going to now complete our fourth corner. So let's double crochet 3 times into the same space. 2, now there we have 2 granny clusters. Now chain 2. We have 2 chains in between them now, and now into the 1 2. The third chain from the bottom, go under both loops, and let's make a single crochet. And that completes row 4. So make a chain, cut your yarn, and pull through. There you have your ruby feathered granny square. Well done. And there's so much you can do with granny squares. So let's work away our yarn. I have in the meantime worked away my yarns just to keep them out of my way. But we can work this one away together. So just go into spaces where your needle won't show from the outside or from the front, and work your needle through and pull your yarn, and then a little bit more. And now we're going to go backwards. So put your needle back into the direction you came from, thread your needle and pull through. Now you can cut it, and that's your tail ends worked away. Well done. So now you can block your granny square with pins overnight, or you can just pull it until it's nice and square. Well done. Thumbs up. Until next time, tot volgende keer. A bientôt!